The new Ice Hero Silas just came out, and there's a lot of cool strategies to test, so let's try them out. Silas is definitely very awesome in Chimps mode and definitely has some unique capabilities, so let's check out some of these cool strategies, and if you have another one to test out, send it to me too. Today I'm going to be checking out using 2 absolute zeros. I technically did this in the last video with total transformation, but that was kind of at the end and it was kind of messed up a bit. Overall, that strategy wasn't very good, but this one's definitely going to be a lot better. So I'm going to be getting a strategy that revolves around using 2 not total transformations, 2 absolute zeros, and it's going to be really awesome. The main thing to note is that it's going to have a weakness against round 100, as kind of all Silas strategies I assume does. So you're going to have to get a Moab eliminator here, or 2 first strikes, something along the lines of that, something that will kill around 100, most likely a Moab eliminator, but this is going to do very good against ZUMGs. The ZUMGs aren't going to be an issue at all. With enough track length, 2 absolute zeros and Silas will be able to take out round 95, so DDTs won't be an issue. Ceramics, of course, won't be an issue with 2 absolute zeros, and then everything in between will go down fairly easily. You're just going to need like a little bit of damage, which can actually be done with icicles, so overall this is going to be a very strong strategy. I'll be starting this one off just by getting Silas down the corner and going for the reactor that's going to be able to beat the early game. Have to do a whole bunch of micro in order to get away with this, because Silas isn't really going to help a whole lot here in the early game though. Going into the mid game, I can build up a bunch of these ices. Particularly, you'll see these cryo cannons. These will be turned into icicles later, which work very well with Silas. In fact, kind of the best way, from what I saw so far, to really use Silas is just a straight up icicle spam. So it's like Silas, AZ, and then a whole bunch of icicles. This actually got 60k on Ouch, which is kind of the goal for some of these runs by Monkey, which was really cool. Here's a picture of it if you haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to be getting a few of those just to help out, but I'm going to be offsetting a lot of those with an absolute zero, and hopefully that will be able to get a lot more spare. And then I'm going to have that Moab Assassin for the mid game doing Moab damage, because I will need something to save up into absolute zero. I also have to wait for the Silas level to make it cheaper in order to buy it, so I don't have to spend like $5,000 more for no reason. So that's going to become a Moab eliminator later. That's all good. And then once I get the absolute zeros up, I can just straight up spam the ability like it's nobody's business. It's just going to be really powerful, and the slowdown radius for the ceramics is literally going to be everywhere. Plus absolute zero has the ability to slow down ceramics globally, which is really cool, so they're not going to get anywhere, which is really nice. On top of that, absolute zero did get a nerf, which I guess it's very deserved. It's a strong tower, definitely like the big sleeper tower of many updates, but I feel like it's still pretty strong, and with Silas, it's definitely got some good power. With other heroes, maybe not so much anymore. I don't know, the 250 is probably at a pretty good place. This is the one thing that I didn't actually have to get. That Moab Blue is completely useless. As I said, ZOMGs and like BFBs, they're going nowhere. I got that mostly to counter DDTs because I knew I'd have a little bit of an issue on 95. There's a little bit of downtime because this map is so short. On longer maps, it's no problem. So I thought that would fix it. Unfortunately, no, it doesn't really, because they don't get camoed until they're in range, and by then it's kind of too late. So I would have needed something else, and the thing that you do need is the sabotage, so the 040 Ninja. So that Moab Blue is completely useless. At the end, for the relative cost terms of how good it is, I'm just going to be completely voiding that, because there is no use in that Moab Blue at all. Even though it might look like it's helping-ish, it's not at all. So that's just something that's going to be completely cut out of the mix, and we're going to move on nice and easy after this. Finally, going into the 90s, everything is pretty easy. I just use the ability, spam the Moab Eliminator. The Moab Eliminator is going to get a lot of pops because it's really killing a lot of stuff. And then when the DDTs come out, I can use the abilities. The level 10 ability on Silas is kind of like a little bit better version of the Absolute Zero itself. It just has a much longer cooldown. So you basically get like 3 absolute zeros in a way, but one of them is kind of like a one-time thing, and it will do some damage along the side too. So 95 was the big round. I had to get the Sabo here. It did still take a few tries actually. So I basically went in, and when they got in range, I used the abilities, used the Sabo, and then just keep spamming the back until they were all in range. There was one left there, and that one at the end got clutched up by an icicles, and that last one I could just use the abilities back because they came up on cooldown. And that was 95 down. That was definitely the trickiest round. You really needed to prepare the most for it, but then all the other rounds came in really without an issue. 96, 97, 98, no worries at all. 99 was a lot shorter, so I just had so many abilities that I can use that I didn't need for 100. And then 100 ended up being really cool because I have a Moab Eliminator on Ouch, which basically means that the Moab Eliminator on Ouch can solo the bad if you have some stuff to solo it and just like a little bit extra damage, because we'll get all the way to the end and you can pop open the bad layer, skip the ZOMGs, skip the DDTs I mean, and just have the 2 ZOMGs there, and then if you can slow them down enough, you can cycle the abilities through and insta-kill both ZOMGs at the very end, which is the trick that I'm going to be pulling off. I also pulled this off for the other strategy that I'm going to be using on Ouch here in a little bit. And for the Energizer one, which I'll be checking out Energizer with Silas on Ouch here too, trying to see how well this does along the mix. I'll be using that with a first strike, and actually use 4 first strikes on round 100 using the same trick, which is pretty cool. But here you'll see the round 100 go down, and I'm going to end off with like just about 50,000 cash spare, 54,000 if you cut that MOA blue out, which definitely can be cut out. And this will just be a pretty good setup. It's not the 50,000 or 60,000 I mean that I was trying to aim for, but it's definitely a good strategy. 2 absolute zeros with MOA Blamer and Silas, a few icicles in the mix to save up. Pretty cool, definitely recommend it.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!